Hello, my friends. It's nice to see you today. If we haven't met before, my name is Jen Daly, and I'm a therapist and a family coach, and I help kids and grown-ups get along better, manage their feelings better, confront learning issues and challenges, and overall have an easier time of life. Today, I wanted to jump back to like a really old program I did because it was really good, and I only did it once, so I wanted to give you the 3 takeaways from it. So back when was Hurricane Sandy? Was that 2009, 2010? What? I think it was 2010. So that fall, like the day before Hurricane Sandy in New York City, I ran a program called the Rhythmic Parenting Roundtable. I used to run a parenting group called the Rhythmic Parenting Roundtable. And so we all met together and we had a great brunch and we talked about how to have better communication, more ease, more joy with our kids. And I'm not going to do the whole 3-hour program, right? Because that would be too long for a YouTube video or whatever, what are we on, Facebook or whatever this is. But there were 3 essential strategies that I wanted to teach you guys today. So if you want to raise emotionally healthy kids, and I'm going to make a really big assumption here, like giant leap, right, guys? If you're watching this video, you would like to raise emotionally healthy kids, or you're a therapist who wants, tools to work with your clients in an emotionally healthy way, or you're a teacher that wants to teach their students to be emotionally healthy. So here are 3 keys to raising emotionally healthy kids or having emotionally healthy kids. Number 1, break the reaction cycle. You ever notice that like your kids evade the truth or don't tell you the whole story, lie outright, or just don't talk to you at all anymore? Well, when that happens, that's because you've got something called the reaction cycle. And instead of having a reaction cycle, we want a response cycle. Because if you tell me something and I react right away, chances are if that's a negative or startling or unexpected reaction, next time I'm going to say, I'm not going to tell them that this time. A response cycle is a little bit different. So the response cycle, there's a formula to it, okay? It's truth plus response over time equals a foundation for healthy communication. So somebody tells you the truth plus your response, right? So truth plus response over time equals a foundation for healthy communication. So the kinds of responses, you can watch my validation videos and things like that. If you need to manage your reaction when your kids tell you something really crazy, there are all sorts of sensory grounding techniques and breathing techniques that can help you lower your reaction so that you can have a thoughtful response. Okay? So number 1 skill is to break the reaction cycle and replace it with the response cycle. Number 2 is interrupt circular conversations. Do you realize that you basically are having the same fight all of the time? Like, I actually want you to get curious. Like, check this out in your life, all right? So we have circular conversations and circular arguments when the thing being said is not the thing being heard, right? Now, I can say boogity boo, and you can say, yeah, Jen just said boogity boo, but you don't know what's underneath my boogity boo, right? So in my family, there's one argument that's always had, and it always goes the same way, right? I have a strong, my foundational argument is don't blame me, it's not my fault. And I'm married to somebody whose foundational argument is it's not fair, why do I have to do everything? Right? So it's not fair, why do I have to do everything? Don't blame me, it's not my fault. Ad nauseum, right? So if we're arguing about like the house being dirty or somebody not doing something or something not going the way that we wanted it to go or something like that, it is always foundationally, it's not fair. Why do I have to do everything? Don't blame me. It's not my fault, right? It always boils down to that. Now, if I know that and the person I'm married to knows that, then we can actually interrupt this circular conversation and we can get down to the bottom of asking yourself, really, what is the emotional need being communicated right now, right? Don't blame me. It's not my fault. Ultimately comes down to I don't want to be responsible and I feel insecure when you want me to be responsible for this thing, or I'm that's too much responsibility for me and I don't feel safe taking on that level of responsibility. So if you can get down to what's the foundational argument and what's the emotional need being communicated in that foundational argument, then you can interrupt those circular conversations. Now, it takes some skill to do this, but if you're got pretty strong insight and reflection, you can get down to what is the basis of this. And lastly, I want you to consider being a future forward parent or a future forward teacher. Okay? So being a future forward parent is thinking about what kind of, and this is a little heteronormative and presumptive on our children's part, but what kind of grandchildren do I want to have? What kind of relationship do I want to have with my grandchildren? Because what you do today creates the future for your child as an adult, for your grandchildren, and for generations. So if you want to have a close relationship with your grandchildren, then what are you going to create today to have a close, nurturing, mentoring, and guiding relationship with your middle schooler or your teenager, right? What can I do today that takes me a step towards this future that I want, right? Now, I am not somebody who has kids, but I really care about my nieces and nephews, and I love them very, very much. So I try to stay connected in different ways because it's important to me when I'm a little old lady and I don't have kids. I have nieces and nephews that I still have a relationship with, so I make choices during that, right? I even send one of my nephews who likes them very silly videos back and forth. But that's a way that we can stay connected, even though we all live really far away. So being a future forward parent or teacher is wondering, what kind of kid do I want to have in the future here? What kind of relationship do I want to have? If you're a teacher, say you're a 7th grade art teacher, what kind of memory do I want to have for my students, right? I just saw that my high school art teacher, Mrs. Stockton, who was amazing and really life-saving for me, I just saw that she's recently retired, which was like mind-blowing because she was a new teacher when I was in school. So that's how old I am. Anyway, but being a future-forward parent or a future-forward teacher is really taking a look at what do I want this to be like in the future, and how can I take different actions today or interrupt those circular conversations or the reaction cycle? How can I do that today to change the course of the future to be one that I want to? Okay, so that is the very bite-sized version of what it means to raise an emotionally healthy kid or have an emotionally healthy classroom. All right, thank you so much for watching. Until I see you next time, thanks for coming. Please like and share these videos if they're helpful to you. And if you'd like to learn more about me, please visit my website, jendailylicsw.com. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.